Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down the greatest story ever told, one chapter at a time. I'm Franky.
And I'm Robin. Today we're on chapter 223. I solemnly swear not to get into a fight in this town. A promise that is immediately and spectacularly put to the test. Because this chapter has one of those meetings. The kind that makes the whole world feel small. The kind that sends shivers down your spine on a reread.
It really does. Two men walk into a bar in Mocktown, and the entire future of the seas might have just been decided over a piece of cherry pie. It's absolutely chilling when you see it click into place, knowing everything that comes after.
Chilling is the word. You can just feel the gravity of it. If you want to be here every time two forces of nature collide like this, make sure you're part of our crew by following the show wherever you listen. You don't want to miss a single moment.
But before we get to that fateful encounter at the bar, the Straw Hats have to actually survive arriving in Mocktown, and that is not a simple task. This isn't Logtown with its history and its underlying sense of order. This place feels different. It feels like the end of the road for civility.
You said it. It's the last stop before the Grand Line gets really weird. It's a bottleneck for every pirate with a dream and not enough sense to be scared. We land on Jaya, and right away, Nami knows what's up. She looks at Luffy and Zoro and basically says, "Okay, you two are my responsibility now." She's the designated Monster-Wrangler for the day.
It's a full-time job, and one she seems uniquely qualified for at this point. There's a familiarity in her exasperation. It's not just panic, it's the practiced weariness of someone who knows exactly what she's dealing with. Meanwhile, Sanji is desperate to go protect his dear Nami, but Usopp and Chopper basically tackle him and hold him on the ship because they are terrified of this town.
Can you blame them? The vibes are immediately off. Every building looks like it's one bad day away from collapsing. Every pirate you see has that look in their eye like they'd shank you for your coat. It's a town of broken dreams and people waiting for their next victim. And while all this is happening, our Robin just slips away. Not a word to anyone, just melts into the background and heads into town on her own.
Of course, she's not there for sightseeing or to find a hotel. Nico Robin always has her own mission. You can see the focus in her eyes as she walks away. She's scanning the buildings, listening to conversations. She's looking for something specific, and she knows the crew's chaos would only slow her down. She's gathering information, always.
My guess is she's looking for a historical marker, a library, anything that hints at the city of gold that Cricket mentioned. She's hunting for history, not trouble.
You just know it. She's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. So we've got the monster trio Light heading into town, Luffy and Zoro with Nami as the increasingly stressed out adult in the room. She makes them promise, literally swear an oath not to get into a fight. She knows them. She knows one wrong look from a stranger and this entire town could be a crater.
A promise Luffy and Zoro seem to take with a grain of salt. Their definition of starting a fight is probably very, very flexible. I imagine Zoro's is something like, "It's not starting a fight if I end it in one swing." And Luffy's is, "It's not a fight if the other guy was being a jerk first." Nami is right to be worried.
Exactly. And not even 5 minutes into town, they run into the first test. This incredibly sickly-looking guy just slumped over. He can't even get back on his horse. The whole image is just bizarre. This guy looks like a skeleton with skin, and the horse looks just as bad.
And the horse is just as sick as he is. It's a very strange, almost surreal image. This man and his horse look like they share a single, fading life force. It's our first introduction to a member of the Blackbeard Pirates, and he's made to look so pathetic and non-threatening. It's such a classic misdirection.
But Luffy, being Luffy, just helps. No questions asked. He doesn't see a potential threat or a weirdo. He just sees a guy who needs help getting on his horse. He and Zoro hoist the guy up. Then they have to hoist the horse up too. It's just pure, uncomplicated kindness. The man offers them a basket of apples as thanks.
And this is where things get interesting, and where we get our first real glimpse into the terrifying philosophy of the Blackbeard Pirates. As he offers them the apples, an explosion goes off somewhere else in town. People are screaming that some guys just exploded after eating apples from that same man.
Nami immediately goes into full-blown panic mode because Luffy, of course, has already taken a huge bite of one. He heard apple and his brain just went food, no hesitation. Nami is trying to perform the Heimlich maneuver on a rubber man, which is just a hilarious image. She's pulling and squeezing and he's just stretching.
Zoro, on the other hand, immediately draws his sword. He's ready to cut this man down for poisoning his captain. His reaction is just as fast as Nami's, but aimed a very different direction. It's that pure, unwavering loyalty. His captain is threatened, so the threat must be eliminated. No questions, no hesitation.
But the man, who we know is Doc Q, just calmly tells them not to worry. The one Luffy ate was a dud. He says if Luffy had chosen the wrong one, he would have died on the first bite. Then he looks at Luffy and praises his incredible luck. What a lucky man you are. This isn't just a weirdo. This is a man who actively tests fate.
It's a game of Russian roulette, but with fruit. And it's our first real introduction to the...
And Luffy just passes the test without even knowing he was taking it. That's what's so terrifying about him to people like that. He doesn't play their games, he just exists, and their systems of fate and chance just seem to break around him. He ate the apple because he was hungry. End of story. His simple, straightforward nature is a direct counter to their twisted worldview.
It also establishes a core trait of Doc Q. He's a doctor who deals in death as much as life. His very introduction is him testing people's survival with poisoned and explosive food. It's a complete perversion of the role. Chopper's mission is to cure every disease and save every life he can. Doc Q's seems to be to introduce new ways to die and see who's lucky enough to avoid them.
A total opposite to our Chopper. It's a perfect character introduction. He's not just an evil doctor, he's the philosophical antithesis of one. So they leave this walking plague behind and keep moving. And what do they hear next? A huge commotion. The town is never quiet for a second.
Of course, it's a man on a rooftop, boasting. He's just won a fight and he's shouting for everyone to hear. He's the town's fighting champion. He's putting on a show, establishing the pecking order for everyone to see.
And Luffy and Zoro get this look in their eyes. You know the one. That little spark that says, ooh, a strong guy. It's like a moth to a flame. All thoughts of their promise to Nami just evaporate. They were about to break their promise 2 minutes after making it.
And again, Nami has to physically restrain them, dragging them away by their collars like misbehaving children. It's such a perfect encapsulation of their dynamic. She is the logic, they are the instinct, and she has to physically fight to keep their instincts from getting them all killed.
But Robin, that's not just some random brawler up there, is it? We're being given another piece of the puzzle here.
Not at all. The mask, the championship belt, that distinctive wee ha 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 laugh, that's Jesus Burgess, the helmsman of the Blackbeard Pirates. His title is champion, and his introduction is him effortlessly winning a fight and gloating about it. It tells you everything you need to know about his personality and his role on the crew. He is the raw physical power, the brawler.
So that's 2 of them. We've met the doctor and the champion within minutes of arriving. The whole crew is here. This isn't a coincidence. It's not like they just stopped for supplies. They're in Mocktown for a reason.
Something is brewing on this island. The Straw Hats have stumbled into the middle of someone else's plan. The Blackbeard Pirates are hunting for something or someone, and they're clearly not trying to be subtle about it. Burgess on a rooftop, Doc Q playing his games in the street, they want people to know they're here. They're making a statement.
And Nami, bless her heart, is just trying to find them a place to stay, completely oblivious that she's dragging her crewmates away from another future Yonko commander. She finds this tropical-looking hotel, the only place that doesn't look like a total dive, and they try to go in.
But the owner immediately tries to throw them out, says the whole place has been reserved by the Bellamy Pirates. The way he says it with such fear in his eyes tells you everything you need to know about who runs this town.
And right on cue, here come the headliners. This guy with a big grin, Sarkis, and a woman named Lily, they're just dripping with arrogance. They don't walk, they strut, they look down on everyone, and they tell the owner to get rid of the trash faster.
Luffy, to his credit, immediately asks Nami for permission. Can I just send this one guy flying? He's trying. He is genuinely trying to keep his promise, but his patience is clearly wearing thin. He recognizes an attitude that deserves to be punched, and he's politely asking for authorization.
He's being so good. It's actually kind of adorable. And Nami, of course, says no, dragging him back again. Sarkis finds them amusing, I guess, and he does this super condescending thing where he offers them money like they're just beggars. He throws a wad of cash at their feet.
Which is the single worst thing you can do to Nami. To her, money isn't just currency. It's the physical manifestation of her struggle, her pain, her sacrifice for her village. It's something to be earned through hard work and cunning, to be used to buy freedom. For someone to throw it at her feet as an insult, it is an attack on her entire life story. She is insulted to her core. She grabs Luffy and Zoro and storms out of there without taking a single berry.
You can't buy her pride. I love that. She's furious. But as they leave, one of Sarkis's crewmates stops him. He tells him to underestimate them and shows him a wanted poster.
And it's Luffy's first bounty, 30 million berries. They don't have the updated one from Alabasta. They think he's just some small-time rookie from the East Blue who got lucky once.
This is such a classic setup. It's establishing the villain's ignorance right away. They're about to make a huge mistake because their information is out of date. They have no idea they just insulted 100 million berry man who took down a warlord. Their arrogance is built on a foundation of bad intel.
And there's another detail here, Franky, a much more important one. On Sarkis's clothes, on his stomach, did you see the symbol?
Oh, I saw it. The smiley face with a slash through it. No mistaking that. It's a design you don't forget.
It's the Jolly Roger of the Don Quixote Pirates.
Doflamingo. My God, it all connects. So Bellamy isn't just some random crew captain with a big mouth. He's flying Doflamingo's flag. He's a subordinate. This whole operation in Jaya, this whole town run by arrogant rookies, is under the umbrella of a warlord of the sea.
Exactly. This connects everything we're seeing here to the larger underworld, to one of the most dangerous men we know of. Mocktown isn't just a lawless pirate town, it's effectively Doflamingo's territory. That raises the stakes considerably. It means the world government turns a blind eye to what happens here. It means Bellamy has the backing, or at least the permission, of a king and a master puppeteer.
It really does. So Sarkis, now knowing Luffy has a bounty, even if it's an old one, decides he should probably go tell his captain, Bellamy. Meanwhile, our trio has finally found a place that will serve them, a local tavern.
Nami gets straight to business. She's still focused on the mission. She asks the owner about the log pose. He tells her it'll take 4 days to set for the next island, which confirms that the log is pointing up towards Skypiea.
Dami does the math and figures if they can get the knock-up stream to work within a day or two, they won't have to wait for the log to reset. Smart. She's trying to get them in and out of this dangerous place as fast as possible. She wants off this island yesterday.
And just as she's about to ask more questions, Luffy, who's been sitting at the bar, gets served a drink and some food. And the man sitting next to him gets a piece of cherry pie.
And it begins. The most important, high-stakes, world-changing argument about dessert in the history of the world. Luffy takes a sip of his drink and says it's great. The guy next to him takes a bite of his pie and says it's awful. It's so mundane, so utterly normal, and that's what makes it so brilliant.
The bartender says the pie is his specialty, so the guy must be crazy. Luffy agrees. But then the man tries Luffy's drink and says it's disgusting. Their very first interaction is a complete and total opposition of taste. It's a perfect metaphor for their entire existence.
It's so petty. Luffy says the pie is so good he could die. The guy says the drink is so bad he could die. They are perfect opposites, mirror images of each other's stubbornness. They find one thing they disagree on and they immediately dig their heels in and prepare for war. It's magnificent.
And then it escalates. They both decide to order food to go, as if to prove that their choice is superior. Luffy orders a huge number of meats for takeout, a classic Luffy order.
And the man, not to be outdone, orders one more cherry pie than Luffy ordered meats. It's a power move. And of course, Luffy can't stand for that. Hey, waiter, make my order even bigger. It's an arms race of appetite. It's ridiculous, and I love it.
They are seconds away from throwing punches over literally nothing. Their personalities are just that volatile, and that similar in their core stubbornness.
Two massive, unshakable wills colliding over the most trivial matter possible.
And the man sitting next to Luffy, this big barrel-chested guy with teeth missing, who is laughing this huge zay-ha-ha-ha laugh, is Marshall D. Teach, Blackbeard.
The man who scarred Shanks. The man who killed a crewmate on Whitebeard's ship for a devil fruit. The reason Ace is hunting someone in the first place. The central antagonist of the entire series, arguably, and he's right there.
It's an insane meeting of fate, and neither of them has a clue who the other is. They're just two guys in a bar who are about to get into a fist fight over their taste in food. It's a mad, genius move to introduce them like this. He takes this cosmically important meeting and makes it a comedy sketch.
Think about the implications. Two men who carry the will of D. Two men who represent the absolute polar opposites of what that can mean. Luffy is about inherited will, dreams, and freedom. He carries the dreams of others with him, and his strength is used to liberate people. Blackbeard is about personal ambition, chaos, and seizing power.
He takes the dreams of others for himself and uses his strength to dominate. One is all about destiny, about being the man Roger was waiting for. The other is all about creating your own destiny through sheer force of will, no matter who you have to betray to do it. And they clash for the first time over which snack is better. It's just masterful storytelling. This is the heart of One Piece right here. Grand, epic themes hidden inside the silliest possible moments.
The tension is incredible, even though the characters themselves don't feel it. We know who these two people are. We know what they will become to each other. We know the war they will eventually wage. Seeing them like this, in this mundane, ridiculous conflict, it's electrifying. It's like watching two storm clouds gather, but right now they're just playfully bumping into each other.
The bartender has had enough, though. He's seen a million bar fights start over less, and he's not about to let these two lunatics wreck his place over a grocery order. He shoves the pies into Blackbeard's hands and tells him to get out.
And Teach just laughs it off. He's not really angry. He takes his pies and leaves without any real trouble. He turns to Luffy as he goes, and you can see he's amused by him. There's a look of recognition, not of his identity, but of his spirit. He sees a kindred soul in a way, another person with an iron will who doesn't back down from anything.
It's like looking in a funhouse mirror for both of them, and just as Blackbeard walks out the door, another pirate walks in. The sound of his boots on the floorboards makes the whole bar go quiet. The atmosphere shifts instantly.
It's Bellamy. Bellamy the hyena, the captain of the crew that runs this town. He walks in with Sarkis, who points out Luffy to him.
And that's where the chapter ends. One future emperor leaves, and a cocky Doflamingo-backed rookie enters. What a cliffhanger. Luffy is stuck right in the middle of it all. The sublime exits and the ridiculous enters.
He really is. A town run by one crew, secretly visited by another, and Luffy just wants a piece of meat. It's a perfect storm of clashing ideologies and ambitions, and he's at the center.
So much going on under the surface of this town. It feels like a powder keg, and Luffy just lit a match by ordering lunch. Super stuff.
Okay. Before we get into what happens next, if you have a theory on what Blackbeard's crew is really doing in Mocktown, we'd love to see it in the comments below. Let us know what you think their target is. Are they just gathering information, like Robin, or are they after something more specific?
Yeah, drop those theories. All right, predictions for Chapter 224. What do you think, Robin?
My first prediction is that Bellamy isn't here to fight Luffy. Not yet. He's here to mock him. His whole philosophy is about the new era, where pirates don't chase foolish dreams. When he finds out Luffy is looking for a sky island, he's gonna laugh in his face and humiliate him in front of the whole bar.
I'm going to build on that. My first prediction is that Luffy is not going to fight back. He promised Nami, and after that pointless shouting match with Blackbeard, I think he's going to show a surprising amount of restraint. Bellamy will mock him, maybe even hit him, and Luffy is just going to sit there and take it, which will confuse the hell out of everyone, especially Zoro.
That's a good one. For my second prediction, I think our Robin is going to find something crucial. She didn't just go for a walk. She'll return to the Mary with a piece of information that Nami couldn't get from the loudmouths in town, something about the true history of Jaya, or a clue about the knock-up stream that isn't common knowledge.
Oh, I like that. My second prediction is that Zoro gets his fight. While Luffy is dealing with Bellamy in the bar, Zoro is going to get separated. He'll run into Sarkis, the big knife, who will probably try to start something thinking Zoro's just some nobody. And we're going to get a classic no-nonsense one-slash and it's over moment from Zoro that puts the whole Bellamy crew on notice.
I could definitely see that. Sarkis's arrogance is writing a check Zoro would be happy to cash.
Exactly. They have no idea who they're messing with. It's going to be a rude awakening.